வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன் ஐயா, கேக்குதுங்க ஐயா.
ஒரு சார் சக்தி சார் ஒரு பாயிண்ட் ரைஸ் பண்ணாங்க. அப்ளிகேஷன் கான்செப்ட்ஸ், ரைஸ் த அப்ளிகேஷன் கான்செப்ட்ஸ். ஸோ அது சமாச்சாரமா we are taking the scientific proof and Dr. Rabindranath and myself, we are going to already discussed with the NIMAMs for scientific proof for mind waves and conscious, how the conscious play and all the things. So shortly it will come as a experimental aspect also. So modern method, how does it justify in the modern method? So modern method means mind. So he talks about the mind. அகத்தாய் பயிற்சி முழுவதுமே மாடர்ன் மெத்தடில் தான் மைண்டில் இருக்குது. இருந்தாலும் அதை லேப் ப்ரொசீஜர்ஸுக்கு நம்ம இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் நல்லா கொண்டு வரணும். அதை சார் நல்ல வடிவத்தை சொன்னாங்க. அதே மாதிரி நம்ம ஏற்கனவே அப்ட்ராக்ட் ஃபினாமினா காயகல்பத்தில் இருக்கிற சில பாயிண்ட்ஸ் நம்ம பாரதியார் யூனிவர்சிட்டியோட ரிசர்ச் சென்டரோட சேர்ந்து டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் பயாலஜி அந்த டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் சேர்ந்து நாம ஒரு டாக்டர் ரவீந்திரநாத் கூட ஒரு அதாவது மைட்டோகாண்ட்ரியா ஸ்டடிஸ் அது எப்படி இருக்குது, அதனுடைய லைவ்னஸ் அண்ட் அதனுடைய ப்ரோக்ரஸ் எப்படி இருக்குன்னு சொல்லிட்டு அந்த ஸ்டடிஸ் ஆல்ரெடி போயிட்டே இருந்து ரிசல்ட்டும் கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. அதனால அந்த பயாலஜிக்கல் ஆங்கிள் அது ஒன்று போயிட்டே இருக்குது. கான்சியஸ்ல நம்ம நிமாம்ஸ் கூட இப்போ கம்மிங் ஹியர் அண்ட் வி ஆர் கோயிங் டு மேட் அன் MOU அண்ட் PhD ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கு அந்த சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸை கொடுத்து கொண்டு போகிற மாதிரி ஐடியா வச்சுட்டு இருக்கோம். திஸ் இஸ் ஃபார் யுவர் கைண்ட் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் சார். தேங்க்யூ.
ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் சார், ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச் சார். Talapati Shanmugavil sir. Yeah, we are unmuting you. Please ask your questions.
Your talk is very beautiful and you have covered almost everything what Maharishi said in the consciousness. Actually, I was finding difficult to follow you, sir. Actually, if you print this and give us, we can again go through each word by word, then only we can understand. And in that, what doubt I am getting is, you said we can perceive everything through consciousness. Is there any difference between realization and perceivance, sir?
Perception and realization is entirely different. Through perception only we can obtain the realizations. And எல்லா சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸுமே உங்களுக்கு நீங்கள் MSc ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸு. ஸோ அத்தனையுமே நம்ம கான்சியஸ்னா என்ன, மைண்ட்னா என்னங்கிறத இதில் வரிக்கு போத் தமிழ் அண்ட் இங்கிலீஷ் நம்ம அதை கொடுத்து நீங்கள் அதை அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணியிருப்பீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். இருந்தாலும் அந்த என்லைட்டன் ஸ்டேஜுக்கும் இப்போ பெர்செப்ஷனுக்குள்ள வித்தியாசம் எல்லாமே. பெர்செப்ஷன் பெர்சீவ் பண்ணுறது எல்லாம் வாட் ஆர் திங்ஸ் we have perceive, everything perceive. அண்ட் அந்த ரியாலிட்டிக்கு போய் பெர்சீவ் பண்ணுறோம், அதே பெர்செப்ஷன் தான். அதை பண்ணணும்னா அந்த பெர்செப்ஷனுக்கு போகும்பொழுது அது அவேர்னஸோட அந்த பெர்செப்ஷன் வரணும். அது த்ரூ கான்சியஸ் ஹேஸ் டு பி மெர்ஜ்டு வித் த டோட்டாலிட்டி. தென் ஒன்லி த ப்ராக்டிஸ் ஆஃப் மெடிடேஷன்ஸ் ஒன்லி தான் சார். தட்ஸ் ஆல் என்னுடைய அப்சர்வேஷன்.
So realization we can get only through meditation.
Yeah,
not
only meditation.
the path. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, sir. This is realization through meditation only for அது முழுவதுமே சொல்ல முடியாது. அது ஒரு பகுதி. அது போகிறதுக்கு மைண்ட் வேவ்ஸை குறைச்சி கொண்டு போகிறதுக்கு மெடிடேஷன்ஸு. பட் அதே சமயத்தில் அடுத்தது கேரக்டர் பில்டிங், அதாவது இம்ப்ரின்ஸை நம்ம குறைச்சி கொண்டு போகணும். அப்போ தான் அந்த பகுதி ரியலைசேஷனோட பகுதி மைண்டில் உள்ள வேவ்ஸ் நல்லா கண்ட்ரோல் ஆகும். ஸோ அந்த ரெண்டையும் பேலன்ஸ் பண்ணி கொண்டு போனால் கண்டிப்பாக ரியலைசேஷன் தான்.
Okay. So in this, what I feel, sir, our brain is having the structure which can keep our mind in awakening state. That is the only point, positive point, and it gives us the courage to go in for all these questions. Because what whatever way we trying to define this consciousness, we are not able to define. But through our mind, we can realize that's the only positive point available for us to cling on. So I think meditation only will give the final answer to the consciousness than all the words and theories. This is my personal opinion, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Very. Yeah, because brain is a ventilator and receptor of the forces only.
Yes, sir.
Mind itself is the force being only outlay of magnetism. So magnetism, biomagnetism release பண்ணி கொண்டு வரும்போது தான் நமக்கு அந்த டோட்டாலிட்டிக்கு போக முடியும். What you are saying is correct.
The positive point is our mind, we are thinking it is limited, but it is having the capacity. It has the neural structure inside the brain. Only we should activate it. It is there, and meditation will activate. That is the secret of whole thing, sir. That positive mind, if it is there, everybody will try with their full effort and consciousness. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. வாழ்க வளமுடன். We are unmuting you, Mr. VMCY Vipin Kumar MC. Please ask your question.
வாழ்க வளமுடன், sir.
வாழ்க வளமுடன், sir.
Okay, sir, I have a doubt actually. So you said that in sleep, there we can perceive. So how it will be possible during the deep sleep? How we will be able to perceive things, or what kind of perception is that?
The deep sleep perception is there, but deep sleep itself is a perception. There is a perception, but the mind is not active, but the mind is subdued in that area. So deep sleep is also deep sleep itself is a perception. That's the only thing.
Okay, actually the deep sleep nu சொல்லும்போது சார், இப்போ நம்ம எப்படி டீப் ஸ்லீப்னு நினைக்கிறேன், இப்போ நம்ம தூங்க போற ஒரு டைம் நமக்கு தெரியும், நம்ம மெமரியில இருக்கும். அப்புறம் எழுந்திரிச்சதும் வெயிக்கப் ஆனதும் ஓகே, அந்த கேப்ல இருக்கிற அந்த ஒரு இக்னோரன்ஸ் நமக்கு தெரியுது, அந்த கேப் நமக்கு சரியாவே தெரியுது, அதனால அது டீப் ஸ்லீப்னு நாம தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறோம். ஓகே, டியூரிங் தட் டைம் ஹவு இஸ் தட் பாசிபிள் டு பர்சீவ்? or
So the thing is that தூங்குற டீப் ஸ்லீப்ல போறது எல்லாமே மைண்ட் கண்ட்ரோல் ஆகி கடைசி அங்க கான்செப்டோட கொஞ்சம் லிங்க் ஆகி போயிட்டே இருக்குது. பட் அந்த ஆக்ட் இட்செல்ஃப் இஸ் எ பெர்செப்ஷன். அந்த ஆக்ட் இட்செல்ஃப் தூங்குற ஸ்டேஜ் தூங்குற ஆக்ட், அது அந்த ஆக்ட் தான் தூங்குற.
ஓகே,
the act of sleeping, that's as simple as that.
Okay, sir. Okay, right.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Thank you so much. Would request all Sky Professor directors to share their views on this occasion. Yes. We are unmuting you, Mr. Prabhakaran. Please ask your question. Please unmute yourself and you may ask your question.
So the answer, the Kumar sir question கேட்டது இதே கொஸ்டின்ஸ் சுவாமிஜி நம்ம கேட்டோம். சுவாமிஜி சொன்ன பதில் இதே தான் இருந்தது. ஆக்ட் ஆஃப் ஸ்லீப்பிங், தட் இஸ் பெர்செப்ஷன். அது அந்த மாதிரி போறதே இதுதான் சொன்னாங்க. அந்த கருத்தை தான் உங்கள்கிட்ட ஷேர் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். This for information.
Thank you so much. Would request all the Sky professors to share their views. Balachandraya, வாழ்க வளமுடன். Yes. We are unmuting you, Mr. Rangasamy sir. Please ask your question. Yeah, Balachandraya, வாழ்க வளமுடன். Yeah.
Thank you, Ma. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Be blessed by the divine.
Sir, Balachandra sir.
Yes, okay. Dr. Rangasamy is about to speak.
இல்ல வாங்க சார், வாங்க. ஒன்னு சார், வாங்க சார்.
So I just wanted to react to Dr. Sakthidharan. He was talking about, yes, we have to show it in modern scientific terms explaining about mind and consciousness. Swamiji used to say that the three things are Marayapurul, that means imperceptible. One is divinity, the other is consciousness and mind. And by equipments, maybe we will not be able to fully exactly define and show it. But Swamiji says that we ourselves can become experimental units. I will just share as to what happened in when we visited New Jersey Institute of Technology. They were all great professors in physics, and we were to give an introduction to Swamiji, our system, sky system. And you know that experiment, why that video is not coming again? I thought I want to show that. Why my video is not coming?
Yeah, your video is on, sir.
Oh, it's on, is it?
Yes, sir.
I'm not able to see that.
So we can able to see your video, sir.
Okay, just a minute. Yes, suppose we keep our hand like this. This experiment Swamiji always shows. You keep both your hands parallel to each other, the palms, slightly away from your chest, and then close your eyes and start focusing on the palms for about 2 minutes. And then you start moving them nearer and farther. Nearer and farther, you will be able to feel the attraction. The two palms coming together, I got to make an effort to move them away. So this is a force which Swamiji calls it biomagnetism. And when the professors did it, all of them with 20, 30 years of experience in physics, all doctorates and postdoctorates, they were surprised to see that such a force they had never thought at all. But then one professor asked me, he said, yes, we are able to feel this magnetism, or whatever you call it as magnetism, but how can you say that is magnetism? Then I answered like this. I thought I'll share it with Sakthidharan. You are a living being, that means you are a bio, and there's a magnetism which you are able to feel. So that is what is biomagnetism, which is different from ferromagnetism and electromagnetism. And this is a philosopher telling you it's biomagnetism. It is for you scientists to find out and measure and all that. That is the job of the scientist. A philosopher has got a greater vision, and in intuition, he is able to show, make yourself feel that you have what is called a biomagnetic force within you. So if the scientists are ready to be experimental units, then they themselves will feel it as an experience. What more proof can we have? If it is not measurable, if it cannot be measured, it's a limitation of science that they have not been able to find out equipments which are subtle enough to find it. Similarly, life force is another force which is imperceptible normally. It's even subtle. But again, when you go for meditation, when your mind is focused on this chakras, you are able to feel the perception of the life force. So that again is a personal experience. And Swamiji says, mind, human mind, is the other end of human mind is divinity. So if you go to deeper levels of meditation from Ajnana Turiya, you go to Turiya, when your mind becomes one with the Almighty, then your mind expands, are able to get intuition from inside. And Swamiji says, this is how I got knowledge about science or economics or philosophy, politics, sociology. He has not studied all of them. Feel the experience of your own life. In the past 20 years, what did I did? I am able to remember because I'm conscious of the physical body. But if I'm conscious of the total universe and beyond, whatever is experienced in the universe can also be felt by the individual. And he says, I am not an exception. All of us can do it. If only scientists are ready to become instruments by themselves. They themselves become experimental units, and the results can be seen as perception. But to prove it through equipment, it is for the scientists to do it. I thought this will be a very direct way of doing it, instead of measuring it through instruments which are not subtle enough.
You're very true, sir. Now, what I was referring to is there are certain faculties that are not amenable for science, that only through philosophical methods and experiential teaching we can experience. And they are so mutually interdependent. And particularly Vethathirian has got a good mix of both philosophy and science, that unfortunately the world has gone very much into objective experimentations. But as you rightly point out, the objective experimentation is only amenable to the range of our experience. So I think we've got to have both the experiential ways of demonstrating things through both scientific methods as well as philosophical methods. But I genuinely feel, I think we are over scientificizing things, and there is time for more philosophical methods to come.
Yeah, it's not a philosophical discussion. It is a perception which one can have. This is the difference between Swamiji. He says that Advaita should not be just a matter of intellectual discussion. It should be a perception, which the Siddhas did it. So Swamiji beautifully connects science. On the one hand, the philosophy, highest philosophy of Advaita. On the other hand, he is able to even show it as a Siddha. And he gives a scientific explanation for all of them. He gives a new concept of gravity, new concept of universal magnetism, new concept of magnetism, and new concept of mind. So if only some openness is there with the scientists, they should be able to be aware of this. And I think this will be a very important contribution, not only in the field of science, where philosophy and science can come together as Einstein wanted. Thank you.
Simplified. Can I have 2 minutes, please?
Yes, sir. Would request you please share your views, sir.
Yes, I really enjoyed Swamiji Vethathirian concept is the flow pendulum of energy or pendulum of biomagnetism energy from cosmic energy to the soul and mind energy to the thoughts and action into body energy. So the pendulum of energy oscillate from cosmic or the space into mind and into the body and back from the body to the mind and the cosmic. This pendulum of energy is the one consciousness or the mind which operate the body. There, we always look at the Vethathirian concept of genetic center and the Agnya and the Dhruya, the coordination of channels of energies through various aspects, through the nervous channel and Wi-Fi channel of cytokine channels, and then all the so-called measurable hormones, enzymes, gene expressions, and you name it in scientific way in various methods. You can say the energy flow from cell to cell, from organ to organ, or coordinated version of orchestrated. Our body is an orchestration of channel of energy from various parts. So Dhuriya, the hypothalamus, which coordinate all the body centers through parasympathetic and sympathetic centers. So all the basic of pendulum of energy moves from cosmic space to the soul and mind and to the body, and back from the body to the soul to the cosmic. So I look at it, the energy channels like proton, neutron, electron estimations is the fundamental measuring of energy. And with various ideas of scientific quantifications in material science, then we look at it. So the Vethathirian principles of flow of pendulum of energy or cosmic energy or consciousness is the basic. Thank you.
Thanks, Professor, for sharing your insightful thoughts with us. I thanks Senior Professor Balachandraya for sharing his insightful thoughts with us. Now, we are unmuting you, Sky Professor Rangasamy.
Thank you, madam. Be blessed by the divine. Dr. N.A.Perumal, the question to you. And when our Swamiji was in US, when he was visiting Yucca Valley, he has sang a song, very big poem, and the first stanza says, "Mannana ivvariya maabariya ulagamisai, மிக சிறிய மனமுடைய மனித உரு வாழ்கின்றேன், எண்ணறிய ஆயிரங்கள் எண்ணங்கள் என்னுடத்தில் எழுகின்ற விந்தையினை யார் அறிவார் யார் அறிவார்." Sir, here when you today so nicely you have given consciousness 360 with the mind, and everything is mind, everything is energy, we have understood. Then why Swamiji says மிக சிறிய மனமுடைய? Why it is a small mind when everything is of our body is mind? Can you please go back to with your long experience with why is it மிக சிறிய மனமுடைய?
Yeah, correct. வாழ்க வளமுடன். நல்ல கொஸ்டின்ஸ். எக்காவலியில சுவாமி எக்டசில இந்த பாட்டை நீங்க சொன்னீங்க. அதே சமயத்தில் மைண்ட் கேன் shrink to the atom, mind can expand to the universe. ஸோ ரெண்டு கேரக்டர் மைண்டுக்கு இருக்குது. ஸோ அதனால மைண்ட் வந்து மிக சிறியன்னு சொல்லும் பொழுது அந்த லைன்ல வர பாயிண்டை நீங்க புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். மிக சிறிய, அது என்ன வார்த்தை சொல்லுங்க? மிக சிறிய
மனமுடைய வாழ்கின்றேன்.
அது மிக சிறிய மனமுடைய
மனித உரு வாழ்கின்றேன்.
மனசு வந்து
small fellow and a small mind.
மனசால ஸ்மாலாவும் வர முடியும், பிக்காவும் வர முடியும். அந்த ஸ்டான்ஸால வரும்பொழுது ஸ்மாலை பத்தி சொல்றதுக்காக அது மைண்டை சொல்றதுக்காக சுவாமி அந்த லைன்ல கோட் பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க. அப்படி நினைக்கிறேன். பாலச்சந்திர சார் கொஞ்சம் என்லைட்டன் பண்ண முடியுமா?
Actually, if you read that, the sentence says only the size of the man is small. மண்ணான இப்பெரிய மாபெரிய உலக விசை மனமுடைய மிகச்சிறிய ஒரு வாழ்கின்றேன். Our size is small. It is about the physical size he's talking about. The universe is very, very big, but the mind can expand. That's what the poem says. So, manam சிறிய மனம் சொல்லல, சிறிய உருவத்துல compared to universe, we are nothing.
Okay.
We have a mind which is very, very powerful.
All right. Thank you, doctor. I think thank you for clarifying.
Thank you.
மிக சிறிய மனித உரு. Okay, I have understood. But this great mind is giving thousands and thousands of thoughts, bombarded every fraction of a second. And we face every day. I think 90% of our these thoughts are useless thoughts, maybe more. What do you say?
Yes, sir.
They come and go like a sea wave.
வாழ்க வளமுடன் ஐயா.
Okay. Thank you, Ma.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Thanks ஐயா. We are unmuting you, Mr. Prabhakaran. Please ask your question.
வாழ்க வளமுடன் madam. வாழ்க வளமுடன் sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful speech, sir. Sir, I have one question, sir. Like Dr.Perumal sir explained, every single thing, consciousness and force inbuilt within it, according to our whole theory and Maharishi and all. And when we consider the wind, right? And when the wind is acting with the body, and we say we are not, like when we say Rathavatam, Vepotam, like all this circulation in the body, we are not mentioning the consciousness flow in the body. We are mentioning as only mind. But when we consider wind is itself within the body, there are thousands of winds. Why we only consider in terms of mind? Why we are not pointing the consciousness? Yeah. So that's my question, sir.
Mind.
And also, I have another question as well, sir. We always have.
Next question.
Sir, please. So next one, sir, there are so many people have a question, so you explained very well, the Ullam and Manam. Are we mentioning the Ullam is the consciousness when it is within the human body? Because as you mentioned, every single thing has the consciousness.
So there is a difference between Ullam and Manam. In Tamil, Ullam means what are the things, what are the imprints we are having in the genetic center. From Sanchita Karma and Pravata Karma, everything it is in this our life force part. There is Ullam. Ullam. So what are the things you are taken from that Ullam? That is the mind. For example, I am coming to your house. So your house. So I want immediately you prepare coffee, something like that. So for the coffee, you are taking milk, sugar, and coffee powder, everything. Just like that, you are taking the coffee powder, milk, sugar. That is the mind, and everything in the kitchen. What are the things there is the kitchen. That is the Ullam. So Ullongaradu, இதுவரை பார்த்தது கேட்டது எல்லாமே அதில் பதிஞ்சது உள்ளம். மனங்கிறது அதிலே இருந்து நம்ம எதை எடுக்கிறோமோ அது மனமாக செயல்பட்டு கொண்டே இருக்கிறது. ஸோ மைண்ட் இஸ் a வேவ் அதில் இருக்குது. உள்ளத்துக்குள்ளார அத்தனையுமே சுருங்கி அது உள்ளுக்குள்ளார இருக்குது. இதான் உள்ளத்துக்கும் மனதுக்குள்ள வித்தியாசம். another பாயிண்ட் ஒன்று கேட்டீங்க, எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் ரிப்பீட் பண்ணுங்க. First point.
Okay, sir. So thank you, sir. And when we considering this perspective, sir, what I have another question is, everything what is in the universe is the typical model is the human body. When we consider Ullam in human body, what is the thing in the universe, sir? And we have Ullam and Manam, but what is the same thing in the universe, sir?
So total body, everything, total body is consciousness, total body is the conscious is there. Each and every part of the cell, every part of the wind particle, every part of the atom, everything is the conscious one. Then the question of Vethathirian, Vepotam, Kata, what you say, Vethathirian, Vepotam, Kata. The functions are Vethathirian, there is also ability. This combined with the functions were going on there in our body also, total body also. The other நடத்துறதும் அது conscious. That's all. Conscious force.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. வாழ்க வளமுடன். பிரபாகரன் சார், உங்க கொஸ்டின் முடிஞ்சதுங்களா? இன்னும் இருக்குங்களா? யா, தேங்க்யூ.
முடிஞ்சது மேடம். இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் எனக்கு I like to have more, but if we have something else, maybe you can put it in the chat somewhere. I want the replication.
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir.
The universe, I know that means our
sir, your voice is breaking, sir. உங்க வாய்ஸ் பிரேக் ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது இன்னும் क्वेश्चन ஏதாவது இருந்தா ப்ளீஸ் drop your question in the chat box.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Any more questions? வாழ்க வளமுடன். கேள்விகள் ஏதேனும் இருப்பினும் அன்பர்கள் ஹேண்ட் ரைஸ் பட்டனை அழுத்தி தங்களுடைய சந்தேகங்களை கேட்கலாம்.
Prabhakar may continue. He wanted to ask something.
Yes, sir, but his voice is actually...
Maybe it's the other end, it's a problem. For others, it's clear.
Okay. Sir, Prabhakar, sir? Yeah.
Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I finished. And can I still continue?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah. Please, madam. Yeah, that was my thinking right now. Yeah, my thinking is, if we compare everything what's happening in the human body and the terms always we say ullam and manam for the human body, ullam equals in the universe and manam equals in the universe. Those two terms I like to know, madam. That's all. Thank you, madam.
ஐயா N.A.Perumal ஐயா.
உள்ளம் மனம் அதான் டிஃபரன்ஸ். உள்ளம்ங்கிறது ஆன்மா, அதற்கு அதில் வந்து எல்லாம் அந்த கர்மையும் அது உள்ளுக்குள்ளாக நம்ம என்னெல்லாம் பதியுதோ அத்தனையுமே உள்ளமாக இருக்குது. இதுவரை வந்தது அதுலேருந்து நம்ம எதெல்லாம் நினைக்கிறோமோ அது மனமாக இருக்குது. திஸ் இஸ் பேசிக் டிஃபரன்ஸ் பிட்வீன் உள்ளம் அண்ட் மனம். ஸோ மனம் இஸ் ஏ மைண்ட் வேவ். அது ஸ்ட்ரிங்கும் ஆகுது, அதே சமயம் எக்ஸ்பேண்டும் ஆகுது. எவ்வளோ தூரமும் எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் ஆகும், அதோடைய கேரக்டருக்கு தகுந்த எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் ஆகும். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் த உள்ளம் மனம். I think the question asked sir is Prabha sir is ullam and manam difference probably. Hello. Next question.
Mr. Shankari ma'am, are you there? Okay, so next is Rangasamy. Mr. Rangasamy, he has raised his hand, and Mr. Janik-Raman is there. Mr. Rangasamy, please, you can go ahead, sir. You can unmute out at your end.
Rangasamy, sir? Yeah.
Yes, I am here. Dr. N.A.Perumal is completed?
Yeah.
No,
Last few minutes there was a total silence.
Hello, வணக்கம்.
வணக்கம்.
சார் நீங்க ஹேண்ட் ரைஸ் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க, உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது திருப்பி क्वेश्चंस ஏதாவது கேட்கணுமா?
No, you can. I didn't see. You can ignore that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Professor Janik-Raman, sir. வாழ்க வளமுடன். வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Janik-Raman, sir. Yes, sir.
I think this question asked, I just want to rephrase the question. Maybe it was not understood rightly, and then possibly there's some gap in the understanding. What he wanted to know is, in the human body, we talk about consciousness, we talk about mind, where we say the karmayam is the consciousness or the ullam, and then the mind as the extension of the karmayam. He wants to know what is that exactly akin in the universal space.
Question கேட்டாங்க, அதுக்கு வந்து அது ஆன்சர் சரியா கொடுக்கல.
So the question was, in the human body la வந்து உள்ளம் and மனம் அப்படினா அதே இது கான்ஷியஸ் ஸ்பேஸ்ல என்னதுன்னு கேக்குறார்.
ஸ்பேஸ்ல
ஆமாயா,
ஸ்பேஸ் முழுவதுமே ஃபுல்லா கான்சியஸ் தான். உள்ள மனம்ல அங்கேயே கான்சியஸ் தான் இருக்குது ஸ்பேஸ் முழுவதுமே.
ஓகே
பிரிச்சு பார்க்க முடியாது. எவ்ரிதிங்.
That's what you want to know.
எல்லாமே விண்ட் பார்ட்டிகிள், எனர்ஜி பார்ட்டிகிள். அது முழுவதுமே அது யூனிவர்சல் மேக்னட்டிசமாக இருக்குது. ஆனால் யூனிவர்சல் மேக்னட்டிசமாக இருக்கக்கூடாது. மேக்னட்டிசம் இஸ் ஏ கான்சியஸ்னஸ் பார்ட்டு. ஸோ அந்த ஸ்பேஸ் முழுவதும் இருக்குது, முழுவதும் அதுதான் இருக்குது. அது உள்ளுக்குள்ளால ஹிடனா இருக்குது ஸ்பேஸுக்குள்ளால. ஸ்பேஸுங்கிறது ரெண்டு அர்த்தம் வருது. ஒன்று வந்து அது ஸ்டாட்டிக் ஃபோர்ஸ், அது ஒன். அனதர் ஒன் வந்து டைனமிக் ஃபோர்ஸ். டைனமிக் ஃபோர்ஸ் வந்து பிரபஞ்சம், ஸ்டாட்டிக் ஃபோர்ஸ் வந்து அது இறைநிலை. ரெண்டுலேயுமே அதே கான்சியஸ் தான். ஸ்டேட் ஆஃப் எவல்யூஷன்ஸ், அது வின் பார்ட்டிகுலா வரணும், மூமெண்ட்ஸுக்கு வந்துடுச்சு. அங்கே இருக்கும் பொழுது ஸ்டாட்டிக்ல இருக்கும் பொழுது அது அங்கே அது கம்ப்ரஷனா இருக்குது. ரெண்டு தான் டிஃபரன்ஸ். ரெண்டுலுமே கான்சியஸ் தான் இருக்கு.
Excuse me, can I just add my views on this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please. Yes, sir.
Yeah. My internet connection was gone, so I could not join. But then now, I think that basically the question is about Manam and Ullam, correct?
Manam and Ullam, and what is the equivalent in space?
Space. Win.
In fact, Bharatiya, a poem called Parashiva Vellam, that's one of the last poems Bharatiya gave out, almost at the very fag end. I just went through, and it seems he met Ramana Maharishi just before passing away, and he was in conversation with Ramana Maharishi, and the conversation was in silence. Ramana Maharishi was in ecstasy. He just went and sat down for one day, and then it seems he wrote this Parashiva Vellam. So there he says, Vellam Mandrundam, Ullum Puramamai, Ulladellam Tanagum, Vellam Mandrundam, Are Devam Enbar Vediyare. So Vellam is complete of full. We can think of space with consciousness. Vellam. And Ullam is within us. So one is universal consciousness. That is called Vellam. Vel means pure. Is Om. So that's what is the pure consciousness. So that is Vellam in the space. But once it becomes universe, from the space it becomes universe, then it becomes contaminated, or it's not pure consciousness. And from that, when a human being has come out, he has got all the imprints of his heredity. So that can be called Ullam as against Vellam. So Ullam is the genetic center starting from the beginning over millions of years, whatever is imprinted, that comes as Ullam or Atma. And because of that, and it interacts with the external world, and the waves are produced, which can be called as mind. So mind is a peripheral state of consciousness which is reacting to within and outside. So they are like waves, and something like maybe we can say it's a well, or and the ocean is, we can say, consciousness. So this I thought that something like that would be. Yes.
Prabhakaran sir, we hope you are clarified. Okay. Next, Shankar sir, we unmute your mic.
This is Shankar from Saudi Arabia. First of all, my thanks to all the senior professors for giving wonderful speech. And I have one basic doubt. During sleep, just before sleep, and when we fall into sleep, what happens to our mind? And when we wake up, and what happens? Who wakes up the mind? Is my question.
So during sleep, the level, the mind waves level, அது வந்து அப்படியே சப்டியூ ஆகிட்டே இருக்குது டூரிங் ஸ்லீப்ல. அவேக்கனிங்ல வரும்போது அந்த சப்டியூல இருந்து திரும்ப அது எழுச்சி பெற்று வருது, திரும்ப ரைஸ் ஆகி வருது. என்ன ஆகுதுன்னு சொல்லும் பொழுது அந்த மைண்ட் வந்து உள்ளுக்குள்ளாக போகும் பொழுது ஒரு ஆல்ஃபா, அதாவது பீட்டா டு ஆல்ஃபா ரேஞ்சில் வரும் பொழுதே அது அந்த அந்த ஸ்லீப்பிங் ஸ்டேஜுக்கு தான் அது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக அதை வரும் தூக்கத்தில். ஸோ அதனால அந்த வேவ்ஸ் வந்து அந்த லெவலில் தான் இருக்கும். அதாவது தூக்கத்துக்கு ஆரம்பிக்கும் பொழுது மைண்ட் வேவ்ஸ் வந்து கொஞ்சம் சப்டியூ ஆகிட்டே தான் இருக்கும். எகெயின் நீங்கள் அவேக்கனிங் ஆகும் பொழுது அதுலேருந்து ட்ரிகர் ஆகி திரும்ப அது வந்து அவேர்னஸ் ஸ்டேட்டுக்கு வருது. அது வேவ்ஸுடைய ஃப்ரீக்வன்சி தான், நத்திங் பட் வேவ்ஸ் ஃப்ரீக்வன்சி. அதான் அதோடைய ஆன்சர்.
Thank you, sir.
What?
Just to continue with your answer, the waves, you said that wave goes down automatically to the frequency level low, and also waves come back to the higher level. What does and who does this is my question.
This is a consciousness. It is done by the conscious itself. The wave itself, conscious itself trigger all the roles. Depend upon our imprints. Based on our imprints, it worked on that like that. Who works means the same consciousness.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be blessed by the divine power.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Varuna Devi, unga mic unmute செஞ்சு உங்களுடைய கேள்விகளை கேட்டுக்கலாம்.
Be blessed by the divine, sir. My simple explanation for sleeping and awakening is when our body loses the biomagnetism, we feel sleeping, and when the body energizes with the biomagnetism, it's our body starts to awaken. Is it clear? Is it correct, sir?
This is a different angle you are informing. Biomagnetism. What is biomagnetism? Next question that will come. What is biomagnetism? Biomagnetism is a magnetism. Again, the magnetism loan தூக்கத்து வர கரெக்ட் லோன் வரும்போது தூக்கத்துல வர திரும்ப நைட்டு பூராவுமே அது எனர்ஜைஸ் எனர்ஜைஸ் ஆகுது எனர்ஜைஸ் காலை நெக்ஸ்ட் டே மார்னிங் வரும்பொழுது அது அவேக்கனிங் ஸ்டேஜ்க்கு வருது.
When our body charged with biomagnetism, automatically we wake up. Yes, sir.
Your answer also correct. That's okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Just to add to this,
yes, sir.
What Swamiji says is, suppose we have 100 units of biomagnetism in the body normally, and we start working from morning to evening, our consumption of biomagnetism takes place, and say it comes to 75%. About 25% is used for mental activity and 75% for the physical activity. The last 25% is for mental activity. So once it comes down to 75, the mind is not able to function. The brain, it becomes dull and dull. So it almost stops functioning. Then we go into sleep. And during sleep, the biomagnetism conversion goes on. And once it comes to 100, then the awakening state. Then we awaken. So consciousness is what it's doing. But consciousness works differently depending on the instrument. The very same consciousness is the stone. The stone does not go to sleep or does not get awakened. The same consciousness is working, but its ability is, it doesn't have the faculty of sensing at all. In the case of living beings, in addition to the pattern, persistent regularity, which Dr. N.A.Perumal described, in the case of living beings, we have the second level of consciousness where perception takes place. So the human being also perception takes place, but for perception, it requires a certain amount of energy. That energy goes below that, the perception does not take place. We almost become like a stone. So there's no perception there because it just doesn't have energy, enough energy. Consciousness is there throughout, but its expression depends on the instrument in which it is working. Just like the very same electromagnetism in a fan works differently, in fridge it works differently, in a heater it works differently. The same electromagnetism, but depending on the equipment, its results are different, its effects are different. Similarly, in us, consciousness, when we are awake, it works with perception. When we are angry, it works in a different way. When you are in meditation, it works in a different way. And when the energy goes down, biomagnetism goes down, it loses the sense of perception. Even during meditation only, we are able to perceive even the life energy. In normal state, we are not able to do that. When the mind goes even subtler, we become aware of even universal magnetism. So the consciousness is constant, but the expression of consciousness depends on the instrument in which it is functioning. So as we make our instrument subtler and subtler, as Swamiji says, from beta level to alpha level to theta level to delta level, we can go. Again, sleep with awareness is meditation. Deep sleep with awareness, higher level of meditation. Coma state with awareness is the highest level of consciousness. To that extent, our mind is possible. That is the greatness of human mind. அப்போதான் அந்த பாட்டுல அவர் சொல்றாரு, சின்ன மனித உருதான், ஆனா எண்ணறிய ஆயுதங்கள் என்னுள் எப்படி வருது? I can think of universe, I can think of subatomic particle. That is the beauty of human mind. The problem is we are not using that mind properly. இந்த மனவளக்கலை, இந்த மனிதனுக்கு மனதை மட்டும் சரியா நம்ம கொடுத்துட்டோம் அப்படின்னா all the problems in the world can be solved. That is why it's so much focusing on mind and perfection of mind, purification of mind, all those things. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we would request Dr. Sakthidharan sir to share your views.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I feel that maybe it is a matter of interpretation and language again. Being conscious and consciousness, I feel they are two different things. And being aware, being awake are also, I feel, two different things, sir. இது தமிழ்ல இதனுடைய ஈக்குவல்னு சொன்னா நல்லா புரிஞ்சுக்க முடியும்னு நினைக்கிறேன் சார். நான் being conscious is something that we perceive and we are able to understand where we are, what the time is. But consciousness is a higher order function that is ever present. And consciousness exists whether one is conscious or not. Am I interpreting it in English in the right way, sir?
Yeah, you are correct, sir. You are interpreting. So consciousness means godly state. Conscious means mind state. இது அவேர்னஸ் ஸ்டேட். அது வந்து வாழ்த்துக்கள்.
அப்புறம் சார் இது ஒரு சின்ன கண்டினியூவேஷன். ஸ்லீப், வாட் ஸ்டேட் ஆர் வி when we are asleep? Are we conscious or not? அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு கேள்வி வருது சார். ஆனா ஸ்லீப் இஸ் a unique state of consciousness அப்படின்ட்டு ஒரு ஆன்சரும் வருது சார். ஆனா when we are asleep, are we conscious?
When we are asleep, ஸ்லீப்ல கான்சியஸ் வர இருக்குதே கேக்குறீங்க?
ஆமாங்க சார். உறக்கத்துல விழிப்பு நிலைன்னு தமிழ்ல அதை சொல்லலாம். ஆனா இங்கிலீஷ்ல வந்து அது சரியா வர மாதிரி தெரியல சார் எனக்கு. அதனாலதான் நான் அதை கேட்கிறேன். உறக்கத்துல விழிப்பு நிலைன்னு நம்ம வந்து அதை உணர்ந்திருக்கோம். ஆனா இங்கிலீஷ்ல வந்து when we are asleep, can we
Hello, is it audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
My internet is having problem. Is it audible?
Yes, it's audible.
Yeah, I think it's a very good question by Dr. Sakthidharan. Consciousness is present always, constantly. But are we conscious about it? It keeps varying. As I told you, stone does not has a consciousness. Consciousness is there in stone, but it's not conscious of it. That's the difference. Similarly, within us, when we are asleep, we are not conscious. In the dream state, we are semi-conscious. While we are awake, we are conscious. But from awareness, if you go to higher level, you go even to a super consciousness. So consciousness is there throughout. So being conscious is different from consciousness. Consciousness is constant throughout, but being conscious depends on your mental and physical well-being.
Thank you, sir.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
We actually bless in Tamil, Valha Valamudan. It becomes very easy and it becomes more effective. But when we teach and when we share this knowledge with the English-speaking community, we say as be blessed by the divine, which is totally exclusive. Be blessed and be prosperous. How this difference has to be addressed, sir? Thank you.
Yeah. Varga Valamudan, Swamiji got this word intuitively. In fact, he says that in one of the letters, instead of addressing the usual thing, he said Varga Valamudan in one letter. He found that yes, that's a very, very powerful mantra. Because of the Ra, it makes a certain effect on you. The speciality about Ra. So he started doing it, and then Varga Vaiyagam. When he went abroad, so there's no equivalent to that, Varga Valamudan, because in English, if you say be prosperous, unfortunately, prosperity is considered more at a physical level. That means materially prosperous, rich. But prosperity and Varga, they are not really equivalent. What we convey in Tamil, Varga means all sorts of prosperities. The Udal Nalam, Manavalam, Natpu Nalam, எல்லாம் சேம். அதே இங்கிலீஷ்ல பி ப்ராஸ்பரஸ் அது வந்து இன்னும் ஒரு மெட்டீரியலிஸ்டிக்கா இருக்கு. So Swamiji did not want to use the word, and then he said, okay, be blessed by the divine. That must also come as in that group. That is what is appropriate. So that's what he said. He had said that. Okay, in Indian languages, we are able to use it more. Balge Samriddhyantike in Kannada. Exactly same as what we say as Varga Valamudan. Ye Samriddh in Hindi. But Samriddhi does not mean only monetary bank balance. Okay, so Swamiji is trying to be blessed by the divine. Okay, if divinity blesses you, then you have all these things. I think in that context, Swamiji must have used it, and it has become we are just using it because Swamiji has used it. Okay, sir, you're right. Okay. That is not exactly conveying the same meaning.
Okay, sir, thank you. Thank you for your clarification.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Shanmugavelu, sir. Yes. We are unmuting you.
Be blessed by the divine, sir. When we are in deep sleep, consciousness is there. We are telling I had a very good sleep. So that conscious is good sleep. So consciousness is always there. But the question is, during coma, is the consciousness there or not? That is the problem. But if we, according to the waves, if we can describe when we are in the alpha stage, but we are in coma, we go to theta, delta level. That's why we are not able to recollect it. But as far as the life is going on, consciousness is there. But can anybody explain about consciousness during coma stage, sir? I think Prakash can give something.
Dr.Jeya Prakash, sir. Yes, sir.
Coma stage, sir.
I feel consciousness is always there, but memory is the one interpreting. The mind linked with memory. During coma stage, the recording is not been happening in the memory system. That's why you cannot recollect what we gone through. So, like Professor Balachandran sir, in the alert consciousness, semi-consciousness, and super-consciousness, he has clearly defined it very well. Alert consciousness, semi-consciousness during, and then super-consciousness. In the coma stage, our body is conscious. Along with the consciousness, our body is conscious. That is why all the organs, the heart, the muscles, liver, all working. But the mind related to the memory system is not recording.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Actually, as Dr. Perumal sir explained, our hardware is not functioning in the coma state. The software is still there, but the hardware is not functioning in registering the memory. So when the hardware is not enough disk to register memory, you cannot recollect the consciousness back. That is my simple wrong. That's my idea of thinking, putting into Dr. Sarmagavel's question.
Thank you, sir. It shows a light on that. Really. Thank you, sir.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Am I audible now?
Yes, Aya. Balachandra sir?
Yeah, now it is okay. Yeah. My internet is having a problem and my mobile also. Is it audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. There is a consciousness in the mobile, but it is not working properly. That's all. Okay. The hardware is the problem. That's the example. Similarly, even in the coma state, consciousness is there, but our consciousness is not there, or almost at a stage where even if the person is dead, consciousness is there. Because we say the stone is also unconsciousness. So you become a dead body, still consciousness is there. Only thing is the hardware is gone. Hardware doesn't work at all. So in a stone also consciousness is there, but its hardware is not able to sense it. That's all. Because the hardware is limited. Limitedness of the hardware. Similarly, at the highest level of consciousness, what Swamiji is conscious of, we are not conscious of that. Okay, that's because his hardware is very powerful, his software is very good. So he is able to reach to a level where even total consciousness is able to reach. Most of us are in material consciousness only. At certain stage, even spiritual consciousness, we get it fleetingly. But even at the total consciousness, we can go. So even your coma, consciousness is still there. But our consciousness level goes to a very, very low level. Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay.
Yes, I completed.
We invite Sky Professor Rangaswamy, President of Hosur Zone and a trustee of World Community Service Center, Ariyar, to deliver vote of thanks. Rangaswamy, sir.
Be blessed by the divine.
Yes, sir.
So this is the fourth session on our series of Consciousness 360. And it's a wonderful session. And we will first thank Professor Indira Selvam from Singapore for conducting the meditation, followed by a welcome speech, excellent speech, short and sweet. And as usual, when he said the modern science with the Vethathirian should spread fast among the nearly 10th time I heard this younger generation, and it is a passion to spread this wonderful welcome speech, followed by our senior professor, Sky Professor Dr. N.A.Perumal, who has greatly prepared his PPTs, and according to me, every bullet point is a research topic. Absolutely turning us and taking on to the fourth session, followed by the divinity and non-ecologium, and also following the footsteps of enlightenment by Dr. Paul Durai. And today, Dr. N.A.Perumal with the vast experience. He has shared his Swamiji interactions with all of us, and giving the other end of mind is
Internet open.
and also he said all perceptions of ours is consciousness. This is a very, very key point, and the inherent power of absolute space is also total consciousness, according to the enlightening speech by Dr. N.A.Perumal. We want to thank you, sir, and sharing your vast experience with us. And also the key points were all Dr. Sakthidharan. He has given the concluding speech and about the mindset, and also how this various key points of our Dr. N.A.Perumal has led to the social and a war in the state of Orilla Nallulagam Vendum Abdin Solumbode. The speech was very enlightening, and this consciousness should be aware of taking care of this. And we are indeed missing our Dr. M.V.Rabindranath, the director, WCSC R&D team. And today he would have been enjoying this very enlightening, interacting session. But nevertheless, we will bullet him next time. And we thank you, sir, wherever you are. And the team is doing extremely well. And with the overall guidance of our president, and also the Professor Janaki Raman, who has been a key member of our this IT team, and not the least, the entire program is very well coordinated by our Professor Shankari Naresh. Thank you very much, and indeed we must not forget this. All the participants have come out with excellent, the questions which they have put forward, bullied all the professors who have to think twice before answering. In fact, Dr. Jeya Prakash was asking with all his mighty strength and experience. He said, am I correct or not in this statement? No, you are absolutely correct, sir. And thank you, all of you, and the entire team which has worked behind round the clock to make this fourth session of Consciousness 360 a great success. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you very much. We will conclude this with over to Professor Shankari.
Thank you, sir. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Thanks again to all participants. Please participate in this event every week. Next week, 6th February 2021, we have Sky Professor Krish Murali Ishwar from Bangalore speaking on the topic Brain and Consciousness. அடுத்த சனிக்கிழமை 6 பிப்ரவரி 2021 ப்ரொஃபசர் கிருஷ் முரளி ஈஸ்வர் ஐயா மூளையும் உணர்வும் என்ற தலைப்பில் சிந்தனை உரை ஆற்றவிருக்கிறார். You can watch and subscribe Consciousness 360 videos in the YouTube channel Vethathirian Gurukulam and Facebook page Vethathiri Maharishi Kundalini Yoga. Spread the word to all your Sky friends. Let everyone take part in this event. May the blessings of Almighty and Guru Yogiraj Vethathiri Maharishi be with us always. வாழ்க வளமுடன். See you all next week. Stay safe. Till then, be blessed by the divine. வாழ்க வளமுடன். உலக நல வாழ்த்துடன் நிகழ்ச்சியை முடிவு செய்கிறோம்.
எட்டும் உழவரெல்லாம் தானியத்தை உவப்புடனே பெருக்கட்டும். பல தொழில்கள் புரிகின்ற பாட்டாளி உயரட்டும், பகுத்துணர்வில் தொகுத்துணர்வே பண்பாட்டை உயர்த்தட்டும். கலகங்கள் போட்டி பகை கடந்தாட்சி நடக்கட்டும், கடன் வறுமை களங்கங்கள் மறையட்டும், நலவாழ்வை அளிக்கும் மெய்ஞான ஒளி வீசட்டும். நம் கடமை அறவாழ்வின் நாட்டத்தே சிறக்கட்டும். நம் கடமை அறவாழ்வின் நாட்டத்தே சிறக்கட்டும். வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க